Hello, and welcome to Daily Drizzle English, where we believe that learning English can be simple, natural, and full of joy. Here, we share easy English stories to help you listen, learn, and feel inspired every day. If you want to speak English with confidence, you're in the right place. Just sit back, relax, and let the story guide you gently. Today, we have a very special story for you. It's about a young boy named Nam, who lived in a small village but had a very big dream. Nam wanted to travel the world, meet new people, and speak English fluently. But like many of us, he found it hard at first. He was shy, he made mistakes, and sometimes he wanted to give up. But step by step, with practice and hope, Nam learned to speak. He didn't have perfect grammar, he didn't know every word, but he had courage, and that was enough to change his life. In this video, we will follow Nam's journey from the moment he first opened an English book to the day he helped others find their own voice. This story is not just about Nam, it's about you. Because if Nam can do it, so can you. Stay with us, listen carefully, and imagine your own English story coming true. Nam lived in a small village, surrounded by green fields and quiet hills. Life in the village was simple. People woke up early, worked in the fields, and rested when the sun went down. Everyone spoke the same local language. No one ever needed to speak English. But Nam was different. From the time he was a young boy, he would look at the sky and dream about places far away. He imagined cities with tall buildings, streets full of people speaking languages he did not know, and beautiful places he had only seen in old pictures. Nam had a big dream. He wanted to travel the world. He wanted to see other countries, meet new people, and understand how they lived. Deep in his heart, he knew that to make this dream come true, he needed to learn English. But learning English in his small village was not easy. There was no English school, no teacher who spoke English fluently, and no one to practice with. Still, Nam did not let this stop him. Every evening, after helping his father in the garden and eating dinner with his family, Nam would sit outside and look at the stars. He would imagine himself walking in a big city, asking for directions in English, making friends from different countries, and feeling free to speak. He wanted that feeling so much, and he promised himself that one day he would speak English confidently. One morning, something special happened at school. Nam's teacher, a kind man who knew about Nam's dream, gave him a small book. It was a book written in English. The cover was simple, but to Nam, it felt like a treasure. His hands shook a little as he opened the first page. The words looked strange. Some letters he knew, but the meaning was lost. Still, Nam felt excited. This is my beginning, he thought. I will learn little by little. But inside, he was also scared. What if I can't do it? What if this is too hard? The fear was there, but his dream was stronger. That night, Nam tried to read the first sentence. He did not understand. He looked at the page for a long time, and then, with a deep breath, he asked his teacher the next day. The teacher smiled and sat with him. Slowly, gently, he explained the first few words. Nam listened carefully, repeating the words in his mind. Every new word felt like a small step forward. He started to write the words in a notebook, saying them out loud when he was alone. Apple, he would say softly. Book, house. They were just simple words, but to Nam they were the beginning of a new world. Every day after school, Nam read a little more from the book. At first, he could only understand 1 or 2 words on each page, but he did not stop. He read slowly, patiently, learning to feel the rhythm of the sentences. Some days were harder than others. Sometimes he felt like he was not learning fast enough. But then, when he could understand a whole sentence, even a small one, his heart would feel light. I can do this, he told himself. I am learning. But speaking was something else. Reading was quiet. Reading was safe. But speaking? Speaking was like standing on a stage, showing everyone what you knew and what you didn't. Nam tried to say the words he had learned, but they felt heavy in his mouth. His tongue didn't move the right way. The sounds didn't match the sounds in his head. And when he thought about speaking to someone, really speaking, he felt shy. He was afraid that people would laugh or that they wouldn't understand, so he stayed silent, practicing only in his mind. Still, the dream stayed strong inside him. Every night, before going to sleep, Nam would whisper to himself, "One day I will speak English. One day I will travel. One day I will be free to say what's in my heart." And with each small word he learned, he was one step closer. Nam's days were filled with small steps. Every morning he helped his father in the garden, and every afternoon he went to school. But his evenings were for English. After dinner, when the house was quiet, Nam sat by the small window with his book and notebook. He read the English words again and again, trying to feel their meaning, trying to make them a part of him. But something was missing. He could read. He could understand more now. But when he tried to speak, the words stayed inside. One day, as Nam sat in class, his teacher noticed the worry on his face. After the lesson, the teacher called him and said, "Nam, what's on your mind?" Nam looked down and said, "I can read, but I can't speak. The words are in my head, but not in my mouth." The teacher smiled gently and told Nam a story. There was a boy, he said, who wanted to learn to ride a bicycle. He tried many times, but he kept falling. His knees were hurt and he cried. He wanted to stop, but his father said to him, "Every fall is one step closer to riding. Keep going and you will succeed." The boy listened and he tried again. He fell, but he kept going. And one day he rode the bicycle all by himself. Nam listened to the story and something clicked inside him. Speaking English was like riding a bicycle. You could not just read about it. You had to do it. You had to fall, to make mistakes, and then try again. That night, Nam made a decision. He would speak, even if it was hard, even if he made mistakes. He stood in front of the mirror and looked at himself. "Hello," he said softly. "My name is Nam. How are you today?" His voice was shaky, but he smiled. It felt strange, but it also felt good. From that night, Nam practiced speaking every day. He talked to himself in the mirror, repeating simple sentences. He said the words slowly, listening to his voice. "This is a book. That is a table. I am Nam. I like to learn." Each sentence was like a small stone building his confidence. He also started watching English movies. He would listen to the actors, pause the movie, and repeat what they said. "Good morning, how are you?" he would say, copying the sound, the feeling of the words. He listened to English songs, singing along, even if he didn't understand everything. Nam also wrote down new words he heard. He made short sentences with them and said them out loud. Sometimes he would walk around the house, speaking softly to himself. "I see the sun. The sky is blue. I like this song." His family watched him with love, not fully understanding, but always supporting. Some days the words came easily, other days they didn't. But Nam remembered the boy with the bicycle. He remembered that falling was part of learning. Every time he spoke, even with mistakes, he was closer to his dream. One sunny afternoon, as Nam was walking home from school, he noticed something different in the village. A small house near the river, which had been empty for many months, now had lights in the window and flowers outside the door. He saw a car parked nearby, and some people were moving boxes inside. Curious, Nam stood for a moment, watching. He soon learned from a neighbor that a new family had come to live there, and they were from another country. They spoke English. Nam's heart beat faster. This was the chance he had always dreamed of, but also the moment he feared. Could he really speak to them? Would they understand him? Would he be brave enough to try? That evening, Nam sat at his desk thinking about the family. He imagined himself walking up to their door, saying hello in English, and having a real conversation. But then the doubts came. What if I say something wrong? What if they don't understand me? What if I freeze and can't speak? The fears were strong, but his dream was stronger. He stood up, looked at himself in the mirror, and said, "You can do this, Nam. You have practiced. You have worked hard. Now it is time." The next morning, with his heart pounding, Nam walked to the new house. His hands felt cold and his legs felt heavy, but he didn't stop. He knocked on the door softly. After a few moments, the door opened. A woman with kind eyes and a warm smile looked at him. Nam took a deep breath and said, "Hello, my name is Nam. Welcome to our village." His voice was quiet, but the words were clear. The woman smiled wider and replied, "Hello, Nam. Nice to meet you. I'm Sarah." Nam felt a wave of relief and joy. She understood him. He had spoken, and she understood. They stood there for a few minutes, talking slowly. Nam told her about the village, about his family, and about how he was learning English. Sarah listened carefully, helping him when he needed a word, and encouraging him with every sentence. She invited him to visit again, and Nam walked home with a smile that did not leave his face. From that day, Nam visited Sarah and her family often. They were kind, patient, and always happy to help him practice. Sarah had a young son, Tom, who loved to play games and show Nam his toys. Nam spoke with Tom, laughing and learning at the same time. He made mistakes, of course. Sometimes he forgot words or said things in the wrong order, but Sarah and Tom never laughed at him. They helped him, they waited, and they always smiled. Nam started to feel more confident. He realized that speaking English did not have to be perfect. It just had to be real. Each visit, Nam learned something new. He learned how to ask questions, how to answer them, and how to keep a conversation going. He learned new words, words for food, for weather, for feelings. And most importantly, he learned that he could do it. Speaking was not just a dream anymore. It was something he was doing, step by step, word by word. One afternoon, as Nam was leaving Sarah's house, she said, "Nam, your English is getting better every day. Keep going." Nam smiled and said, "Thank you. I will not stop." And he meant it. He walked home with the sun shining on his face and a new hope in his heart. The world no longer felt so far away. English was no longer something strange and hard. It was becoming part of his life, part of who he was. And he knew, deep inside, that this was just the beginning. Nam's life began to feel different. Each day now seemed full of new chances, new words, and new ideas. After meeting Sarah and her family, Nam felt a warm light inside him, the light of confidence. He started to believe that his dream was not far away. It was not something impossible anymore. Every time he spoke, every time he listened, his English became stronger, and so did his heart. He no longer feared mistakes. He no longer waited for the perfect moment. He simply spoke, and with every word he grew. He practiced with Tom, who loved to play and chat. Tom would show Nam his favorite books and toys, and together they would laugh and talk. Tom did not care if Nam said something wrong, and this made Nam feel safe to try, again and again. One evening, Sarah invited Nam to stay for dinner. He was a little nervous, but also excited. It would be his first time eating with people from another country, speaking English for a whole evening. As they sat around the table, Sarah asked him about school, about his village, about his dreams. Nam answered slowly, carefully choosing his words, but he did not stop. He told them how he wanted to travel, how he wanted to see big cities, and how he hoped to one day help others learn English too. Sarah listened, her eyes full of kindness, and said, "Nam, you are doing it. You are already on your journey." These words stayed in his heart. That night, as he walked home under the stars, Nam looked up at the sky and whispered, "Yes, I am on my way." After that dinner, something changed inside Nam. He started to do things he never thought he could do before. He went to the market and greeted visitors in English. He helped a tourist find the way to a nearby river. He even began teaching some of his friends the words he had learned. People in the village noticed. They smiled at him and said, "Nam, you speak English now." And Nam would smile back and say, "I am learning every day." Nam also spent more time watching English movies. But now he didn't just watch. He listened carefully, paused the scenes, and repeated the sentences. He tried to say the words with the same feeling, the same sound. Sometimes he would laugh at himself, but he didn't mind. It was fun. It was exciting. And little by little, he felt the words becoming smoother, easier, more natural. He also listened to English songs. He sang along softly, feeling the rhythm, enjoying the music. English was no longer just something he studied. It was something he lived. One day, Sarah told Nam about something called shadowing. She said, "It's when you listen to someone speak English and you repeat after them, just like their shadow. It helps you sound more natural." Nam loved this idea. He tried it with videos, with songs, even with Sarah's voice. He listened, he repeated, and he felt his mouth learning new shapes, his ears learning new sounds. Shadowing became part of his daily practice, and soon he could feel the difference. Nam's dream was growing too. He no longer just wanted to travel. He wanted to help others like him. He wanted to share his story, to tell people that they could learn English too, no matter where they lived, no matter how hard it seemed at first. He began writing his thoughts in a notebook, in simple English. "Today, I spoke with Sarah about my dream. She said I can do it. I believe her. I believe in me." These words, small but full of hope, gave him strength. And so Nam continued. Every day, he spoke a little more, listened a little more, believed a little more. He knew the road was still long, but he was no longer afraid. He was walking it, step by step, with courage, with joy, and with a heart full of dreams. One morning, as Nam was practicing his English by reading aloud from his notebook, Sarah came to him with a bright smile. "Nam," she said, "would you like to come with us to the city this weekend? There is a festival, and I think you will enjoy it." Nam's eyes opened wide. He had never been to a big city before. The thought excited him, but also made his heart beat faster. In the city, he thought, I will need to speak English with strangers, with people I do not know. Fear and excitement danced together inside him. He took a deep breath and said, "Yes, I would like to go." That night, he could not sleep. His mind was full of questions. Will they understand me? Will I find the right words? What if I forget everything? But he remembered Sarah's words. You are already on your journey. And he told himself, this is my next step. The morning of the trip was sunny and warm. Nam wore his cleanest clothes and brought his small notebook, just in case he needed to remember some words. As they drove to the city, Sarah and Tom chatted happily, and Nam joined in when he could. The closer they got, the bigger everything seemed. The houses became taller, the roads wider, and the people more and more. Nam looked out the window in wonder. This was the world he had dreamed of, and now he was part of it. At the festival, there were many colors, sounds, and smiles. People were singing, dancing, and talking in English all around him. At first, Nam felt small, like a drop in a big river. But then Sarah said, "Let's get something to eat." They walked to a food stall where a friendly man greeted them. "Hello, what can I get for you today?" Nam watched Sarah order, then it was his turn. His hands felt cold, but he looked at the man and said, "I would like 1 sandwich, please." The words came out slowly, but they came out. The man smiled and said, "Sure, 1 sandwich coming right up." Nam felt a wave of relief. He had done it. He had spoken and he was understood. As they ate, Sarah encouraged Nam to talk to more people. "Just say hello, ask simple questions," she said. "You can do it." Nam nodded. He walked to a small shop selling handmade gifts. A young woman stood behind the table, arranging items. Nam smiled and said, "Hello, these are beautiful. Did you make them?" The woman looked up, smiled back, and said, "Thank you. Yes, I made them." They talked for a few minutes. Nam asked about her work, about the colors, about the meaning of some designs. He did not understand every word, but he understood enough. And she understood him. When he walked back to Sarah, he was smiling and his eyes were shining. "I spoke to her," he said softly, and she listened. The rest of the day was filled with small moments like this. Nam asked for directions, bought a drink, and even helped a lost child find his parents, all in English. Each time he felt a little braver, a little stronger. He realized that people did not care if he made mistakes. They were kind, patient, and happy to help. The city, which had seemed so big and scary, now felt like a place of possibility. On the way home, Nam sat quietly, looking out the window as the city faded behind them. He felt tired, but it was a good kind of tired. The kind that comes from doing something new, something important. He thought about the day, about the voices, the smiles, the words. He had faced the real world, and he had spoken. "I can live in English," he thought. "Not just study it, but live it." And in his heart, a new dream began to grow. A dream of more places, more people, and more stories he could share.